Hey Chad, Jessica with Peterson SEO. Today I spoke with Chris and he thought you would definitely want to check out this video. So today I'm just going to show you a few tips you guys can start applying right away, and it's really going to help with your online presence to bring more of those jobs to you each month, okay? So first, let's start where your customers start, and that's with a Google search. Now, most people, when they look for a service, they don't know who the provider is. And especially in an emergency, they're going to search for the service that they actually need. And so they're going to do a search like water damage restoration, Seattle. Okay. And so it's your business's job to put yourself where your customers are going to need you. So on Google, there's three separate areas that any business can own the positioning in. The first on the top section is Google Ads. And those are your cost per click ads and your local service ads. About 10% of people generally will click through those ads. The next section is going to be your Google Business Profile section. This is for Seattle, so let me just skip on over to the Lynnwood. So here's Lynnwood's. Okay. So your goal is to be in the top 3 of this section. And I can see that you guys are not listed in the top 3. So in order to get into the top 3, there are several factors that go into ranking. One of the most important factors is something called citations, which are simply directory listings. That is placing the name of your business, your address, phone number, and website in directories like Yellow Pages, Glassdoor, Yelp, and even all your social media pages, okay? So that's really critical for ranking, for Google to understand who you are and what you're about and how that would relate back to your website, okay? Now, according to Google statistics, majority of businesses in the top 3 have a minimum of 150 of those citations. And those underneath that top 3 generally are in the 50 to 60 range. And so since you're not up in the top 3, I would estimate you probably have around 50, and you're going to have to like triple what you currently have. And that's just one factor. It's really important that we're not just creating these profiles and setting them and forgetting them. They need to stay active. So you need to make sure that you have more images than everybody, that you're adding new geotagged images every month, and that you're doing updates every month. Because this section is very fluid. It continues to move. So not only do you want to be in the top 3, but you want to maintain that position. So that's going to be really important for you guys, because nearly 30% of people come straight here to the map pack and don't go anywhere else. Okay. And then the next section is called the organic section. This is the most important section to be in, because 60 to 70% of people skip everything else and they come right to the websites that are listed here. So if your websites aren't listed here and they're not listed up in the top 3, you're leaving tons of jobs on the table and sending them to your competition. So how do you get in these positions? Well, that's based on your website, how it's built and optimized. So let's go back to your website. All right. So we are at your website. It's a good basic website. I did notice the provider of the website, and similar companies tend to have templated websites that they just use the same thing. They might switch out a couple images and change out names. And so it's all duplicated content, which Google doesn't like. And Google can tend to sandbox you guys for that. So they won't index anything. So that's one of my concerns. But with your website, it's really important that you have separate pages for each service, and I'm not seeing any service pages. I do see location pages, and that is really, really important as well. You want a location page for each area that you service. But before we get back to your location pages, let's just look what we have going on here. So you do have a click to call phone number. I'm not seeing any form up here. You want to make sure that your website has a form and click to call at the top of your website. It's going to help with your conversions. And you need to make sure they're on every single page. So no matter where anybody lands, they can contact you because they're not going to hunt for anything. We do have a little bit of content here. So this is good. Content is key when it comes to Google. Google does not rank websites based on appearance. It is based on the information on your website. Google has crawlers that crawl your site to learn what it's about. And so if you don't have enough content and the content doesn't have any keywords, it has no idea what you're about and what your customers need, so they can't put you in front of customers. So you do have a decent amount of content, which is good. And content can be pictures, video, and then of course written content. Now your written content needs to be built around your local keywords. We don't just want generic water damage restoration because you guys don't service the entire United States. Since you have a locations or locations that you service, we need to keep to those local keywords. You're going to need a repetition of at least 3 times of that keyword on your page to even get picked up and indexed, so Google knows what you're about and can put you in front of customers. And then you need 150 words for every keyword that you do target. Now keep in mind there's multiple variations of keywords, and you want to capitalize on it to get the most people to your website to get the most conversions. So ideally on your home page, which is the most important page, it should be a summary of your services and business, but it should be going after several of your local keywords. And once you go after those keywords, they can start getting indexed. We like to see at least 1,500 words of content on the home page or more, depending on what your competitors are doing. If they got 1,500, I would have 1,800 to 2,000. Always going to have to do more than whatever they are doing. When it comes to your location pages are great. You do need to have them. You need to have them for each service. It defeats the entire purpose of having these service area pages if we're not going after the keywords. So we still have your brand, and then water damage restoration services, water restoration company, but we're still not going after those local keywords, which is totally defeating the purpose of having these pages. So you guys are missing having the service pages that you guys desperately need, and even though you have service area pages, they're actually missing the mark. So you guys are missing out on a ton of jobs because of not having these optimizations in place. If we look at Fisher, which was the #1 for water damage in your service area, we see that he has separate pages for each service. He also has the separate service area pages. He has the click to call phone numbers up here. Let's see, he's got an okay amount of content. And he's also utilizing FAQs, which is really important, especially now with everybody using their devices, asking Siri and ChatGPT. So this is important. SEO is the foundation for AEO, but then having your Ask Engine optimizations on your website as well is going to help you once you're starting to rank. So these guys could use more content, but they've got a ton more pages and a ton more content within their website. And then they're more focused on those local keywords. They're able to index for more, and get that traffic. Now, once you optimize everything and support it with SEO, you guys do have the opportunity to capture a lot of this traffic. So if we go here, this is a tool called Ahrefs. It tells us how your website is performing. We can see here you have a rating of a 10 out of 100, which isn't too bad. Okay, I usually see much lower, so this is not bad. And this score is based off of the power you're sending to your website. The power is generated through backlinks and referring domains. Now, you do need a lot of backlinks, but not all backlinks are good backlinks. This is a popularity contest, so it needs to be relevant to your business. If you're getting backlinks from Pizza Hut and Donut King, those actually are going to hurt you. They're completely irrelevant. They're considered spam. So we got to keep our backlinks focused on the right type of links. And so a referring domain is any website that provides your website with a link from their site to your site. And the backlink is just that physical link. And so if you've ever been onto a web page and you've seen like that blue hyperlink and you click on it and it takes you somewhere else, that is that backlink. If you think of this, your referring domain, as like you have a favorite power tool, but you can't turn it on without power. So you plug in that power tool into that power source, in this case a referring domain. And the power sends power through that cord to your device, which is your backlink, and it fires that device. So this is the same thing. It's what firing up your website, giving it authority, and helping Google push and promote your website. Because your content doesn't have any keywords, you're getting no traffic. And so without optimizing and having keyword strategy, you are going to have zero traffic. If we look at your competition, their score is a 19. They have 405 backlinks, so you're going to need more than they have and better quality. And because their content is more focused, they've got over 400 keywords, and they're getting over 600 people to their website each and every month. And so that's a ton of traffic and customers that you guys are losing by not having those optimizations in place. Hopefully you found this video to be helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can reply to my email or give us a call here, and we'd be glad to chat. Thank you a lot for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.